just found horrifying notes under my brother's bed. I'll never forget what he did next. I was always close to my brother, but over the last few months, something changed. He became withdrawn, distant, and there was a constant haunted look in his eyes that I couldn't understand. He would stay in his room for hours, sometimes days, barely speaking to anyone. I chalked it up to stress. He had been going through a tough time with school and work, and I figured he just needed some space. But then, a few nights ago, I found something under his bed that made my blood run cold. It started when I was in his room, looking for my headphones that I thought he might have borrowed. I was about to leave, when I noticed a small stack of papers shoved haphazardly under the bed. Curious, I pulled them out. What I found were notes, hundreds of them, written in shaky handwriting, the same phrase repeated over and over again. Help me. Some of them were in English, but most were in languages I didn't recognize. The characters were foreign, some almost alien, yet all seemed to scream the same desperate plea. The sheer number of them was disturbing, as if he'd been writing for days, weeks even, without stopping. I confronted him about it later that night. He was sitting at his desk, staring blankly at a wall, the usual dark circles under his eyes even more pronounced. I showed him the notes, expecting him to either deny it or try to explain it away. But when he saw them, his face went pale, and for a moment, I thought he might collapse. "You shouldn't have found those," he muttered, his voice hollow and distant, as if coming from somewhere far away. I pressed him, demanding to know what was going on, but he just shook his head, refusing to say more. "I'm trying to fight it," he finally whispered, almost to himself. "But it's stronger than I am." His words made no sense to me at the time, but there was a desperation in his voice that terrified me. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept hearing his voice in my head, those cryptic words echoing in the silence of my room. I thought about the notes, the sheer horror in his eyes when he saw them, and wondered what could possibly be tormenting him so much. I was too afraid to ask again, and I was too afraid of the answers I might get. The next morning, I woke to the sound of 2 gunshots. My heart stopped, and for a moment, I couldn't move. I forced myself out of bed, stumbling down the stairs, my mind racing with all the terrible possibilities. When I reached the living room, I found my parents lying on the floor, blood pooling around them. The sight was so shocking that I nearly collapsed. Then, I saw him. My brother, standing over their bodies, his hands shaking violently as he dropped the gun to the floor. His eyes met mine, and for a moment, I saw a flicker of something. Regret, fear, or maybe a fleeting moment of clarity. "Why?" I demanded, my voice breaking as I picked up the gun, not even sure what I intended to do with it. He looked at me with that same haunted expression, his eyes pleading for something I couldn't give. "I didn't want this," he said, his voice trembling. "It made me do it. Please, you have to end this. Shoot me in the head and throw the gun out the window." His words were desperate, filled with a kind of urgency that terrified me more than anything else. I didn't want to believe him, but there was something in his voice that made me raise the gun, my hands trembling. "I never wanted this," he repeated, tears streaming down his face. "It's taken over. It's inside me, and it won't let me go. Please, you have to do this." I was crying too by then, my entire body shaking as I aimed the gun at his head. "I love you," he whispered, his voice barely audible. I closed my eyes, and with every ounce of strength I had left, I pulled the trigger. The sound of the gunshot echoed in my ears as I threw the gun out the window, just like he told me to. I stood there for what felt like an eternity, staring at his lifeless body, my mind numb with shock and disbelief. I wanted to scream, to run, to do anything to escape the horror of what I had just done. But I couldn't move. I couldn't think. All I could do was stand there, replaying his final words over and over in my mind. "I never wanted this. It's taken over." The notes flashed in my mind, that desperate plea for help in all those different languages, as if he had been crying out to the world, to anyone who could understand, that he was trapped in something beyond his control. Now, I'm left with nothing but questions, and the haunting realization that whatever had taken hold of my brother was real. The notes, the languages I couldn't recognize, they were all part of something far darker than I could ever comprehend.